Hi everyone, it's Tiffany here, and I'm super excited to be back on camera with you all. I know it's been a while since you last saw me, but I've been hard at work with renovating my studio, and I'm thrilled now to finally share the results with you. My space now has pink walls, plenty of new storage and display areas for my dolls, and even a pink chandelier. The studio isn't quite finished yet. There are still some details left to complete, but it's mostly done. Today I'm back with an exciting project, customizing 2 Master High dolls into the iconic Wednesday and Morticia Addams. For this transformation, I'll be using the Headless Mistress for Morticia and Cleo the Nile for Wednesday. I can't wait to dive into this makeover, so let's get started.
So here we have the 2 victims that we are going to customize, and as usual we'll start with removing all of their original hair. And as you might know, Headless Mistress, we can just pop the head off very easily. So when I've cut off all of the hair with scissors, I'm going to pop both of the heads in boiling hot water so they soften up a bit, both for easily removing the head of Cleo, of course, but also for the glue to be easier to remove out of the head with some tweezers. And now that the hair is gone, let's remove the original face-up with some pure 100% acetone. And after that, I just wash off any residue with some soap and water. So for these customs, I decided to reroot the hair. That's something I usually not want to do with dolls, but I thought it will look better if I do on these. And it takes a really long time. And I really don't recommend it, but yeah, it looks good. And while we wait for the glue in the head to dry so that the hair doesn't come out again, we'll start with the clothes. And yeah, these are the fabrics we are going to use today. We'll start with wrapping the bodies with this plastic foil to get the general body shape, and we can make a pattern. So these are the pattern pieces I made for Morticia. They will be available in my Patreon if you are interested. So let's start cutting out these pieces out of this fabric I chose. It's a crushed velvet. I thought that would be fitting for Morticia. So here we have the pieces, and by pure magic I sewed them together off camera, and here we have the bottom pieces. I actually redid them and put them on separately, and in the back I put some really thin Velcro for the closure. So let's do the same thing with Wednesday's outfit. If only it were this easy in real life. Now the heads are ready for the face-up. We put the heads back on the body before, because the face-up might crack due to the pressure when you put the head on the peg. But Morticia's head I just put on a stick, because of Headless Mistress's peg is easier to mount on. I cover the hair and body with some fabric so that they don't get unnecessary paint and spray and stuff on them. As usual, I start with 2 layers of Mr. Super Clear UV flat on the face first and let that dry, and then I'll just sketch out the features with a very light gray pen before I start with the soft pastels. And the pencils I use are Faber Castell watercolor pencils. And as you see here, I just go in with darker and darker colors, and I spray with Mr. Super Clear in between the layers whenever I want to save any work I've done or the color doesn't take anymore. And I'm sorry about my big head in the frame sometimes, but it is what it is. So, and for the lips, I go in with a bright red acrylic paint, and we are going to make it kind of an ombre effect with darker edges. And with a very thin paintbrush, I'll start filling in the eyes with some acrylic paint. The inspiration for this makeup, I actually just looked at the new and old Morticias and decided to do kind of a mix between all of them, made it kind of my own version. And we'll give her some sharp blushing here on the cheeks with some soft pastels. I always finish the face with the black acrylics for the pupil and around the eye and the eyelashes. It's always kind of nerve-wracking because I don't know. It's black and it's harder to redo in a way, and eyelashes are hard, but they kind of work out always in the end. So yeah, just practice and it will be better and better in the end. I realized that she of course needs to be glitterified, so I apply this mica powder glitter all over the face. Well, not quite all over, but in certain places like above the eyes, under the eyebrows, lips and cheeks and nose and forehead. So yeah, almost all of the face, because she needs glitter. And of course we'll seal everything in with a couple of layers of Mr. Super Clear UV flat, and for the final thing I gloss the eyes and lips. And of course she needs some black nail polish. So the only thing remains here is to put the head back on the body, and Morticia is done. So let's start with Wednesday, and the procedure is the same here. We'll start with the Mr. Super Clear, the light gray, and go in darker and darker with the watercolor pencils. As you see now, I use the darker gray to just sketch out all the features, and I actually had a more clear vision of how I wanted Wednesday to look, so it kind of went a little bit faster this time. Also here I looked at both the old and new version of Wednesday when I decided what makeup to put on her. For Wednesday, I chose a more gray eyeshadow than for Morticia, but I still think you can see the family resemblance between them. And as an extra little tribute to Jenna Ortega, I put some freckles on her because I really like that look. And of course, she also needs a lot of glitter on her face and some final gloss on the eyes and lips. And of course, Wednesday also gets the black nail polish treatment. And with some braids in her hair, Wednesday is done. So both of them needs some accessories. So for Wednesday, we are going to make 1 bottle of poison and a little headless doll. And for this, I'm using polymer clay. And I have this polymer clay that is so-called effect, and I don't really know what effect they have. So I'm using 2 different ones, and I just hope that maybe they have some see-through effect when they're baked. We'll just have to see. And as you see, I'm just shaping it to look like a little flat bottle. And for the doll, I just make it really simple with a long worm for the legs and for the arms. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to film the rest, but here you see the result. So I put a little hoop in all of the pieces so that they can have them as necklaces. And as you see for Morticia, I just happen to have these little scissor charm. And as you see, I just measure up the length of the chain for the dolls. And I think this will be good. I just hook them in. This one for Morticia. And then I'll just start painting on the details like the cork here on the bottle, then the dots on the dress here so she matches the so-called real Wednesday, but you know, it's also a doll, so it's 2 dolls that matches each other. You know what I mean. Inception. I glossed the bottle with some UV resin to make it look more like glass, and I'll make this tiny little label, some regular paper, and write poison on it. I attach it with some super glue, just a tiny little dot, and it's perfect. So I'll just attach the pieces to the necklace chain. And then it's done. Now now it's time for the shoes. So I picked for Wednesday these red Monster High, or maybe they're, I don't know. I think it's Monster High shoes. And for Morticia, these shoes are from a Hair Durable doll, I think. And I just cut off the excess that I don't want on it with an X-Acto knife and shape them into the shape I want. Well, we won't even see the shoes. And then I spray paint both of them in black. And now that we have all the finished pieces, let's put the clothes on. And with that, they are both ready for the beauty shots. Both these dolls will be for sale in my Etsy shop, and you find the link for that in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe and push the bell button so you don't miss my upcoming videos. Also, I would love it if you write a comment on what you think about this customization. I read and answer all comments. A big thanks to my Patreons. If you want to help me create these dolls, you can become a Patreon too. The link is in the description. See you next time!